Welcome to UP video number 3, Diamond Jim Dandy and the Sheriff by Sarah Burrell and illustrated by Brian Langdo. Nothing exciting ever happened in Dustpan, Texas. The men folks snoozed at Earl's feed store, and ladies dozed at their sewing circles. The kids drifted off in school and drooled all over their books. The town sheriff took up babysitting just to pass the time. One day, the sheriff was rocking Ida Mae Tumbleweed when a rattlesnake slithered into town. "Holy buckets!" he cried. The rattlesnake smiled at the sheriff like he was trying to make a friend. He smiled so big, his pearly white fangs sparkled in the sunshine. I can see you're a neighborly sort of snake," said the sheriff. "But folks round here don't like rattlers. I'm afraid you're not welcome here, partner." The snake looked terribly disappointed. He slithered away, his rattles dragging across the dusty ground. The sheriff was putting Ida Mae in her playpen when he heard a loud commotion at Earl's. "Dang!" he cried. "Something's actually happening in Dustpan." He hoisted Ida Mae to his hip and rushed to the feed store. The menfolk were clapping and cheering. The rattlesnake was balanced on the bay of hay, performing for the customers. He tied himself into one fancy knot after another. "Best show I've been," said One-Eyed Bill. "That snake's got talent." The sheriff was fit to be tied. "You can bet your boots the ladies won't like the snake," he said. Suddenly, Ida Mae cried out for her bottle. "Don't move, partner," he said to the snake. "I'll be right back." The sheriff took off. So did the snake. On his way back to Earl's feed store, the sheriff heard the chorus of oohs and ahs coming from the town meeting hall. Inside, he found the Dustpan Ladies' Sewing Circle. The rattlesnake was posing, and the ladies were admiring the diamond pattern on his back. Look, said Odette Hicks. "I embroidered a diamond on my bloomers." Odette's bloomers reminded the sheriff he had to change Ida Mae's diaper. This time, he left in a hurry. So did the snake. The sheriff was walking back to the meeting hall to have a little talk with the snake when he heard squeals of laughter coming from the schoolhouse. The snake zigzagged back and forth across the schoolyard. 27 kids zigzagged back and forth behind him. "Dadgummit," said the sheriff. "Even the kids like the snake." The sheriff called a town meeting at the courthouse. He set Ida Mae on the steps and paced back and forth. "Irritating rattler," he fumed. The townsfolk arrived, and the rattlesnake came too. The sheriff spoke out loud, nice and clear. "Citizens of Dustpan," he said, "I'm running that rattler out of town." "But he's entertaining," cried the menfolk. "He's inspiring," said the ladies. "He's our friend," shouted the kids. "It's the law of the West," shouted the sheriff. "Folks aren't supposed to like rattlers, even friendly ones." He snapped his suspenders and escorted the rattlesnake to the edge of town. Before the snake slithered away, he looked back and smiled at his new friends. It was the saddest smile ever seen in Dustpan, Texas. All of a sudden, everyone heard a loud shriek. "Where's Ida Mae?" cried Mrs. Tumbleweed. The sheriff had been so hopped up over the rattlesnake, he'd forgotten all about her. "Where could she be?" cried the sheriff. Everyone had a different idea. "Maybe she's crawled into Vernell's hair salon," said Odette. "Ida Mae doesn't have much hair," said Earl. "She's probably crawled to Lucky's barbecue." "She can't eat barbecue," said Odette. "She only has 2 teeth." "Maybe she's crawled to Dead Man's Gulch," said One-Eyed Bill. Mrs. Tumbleweed fainted. The sheriff wiped a tear from his eye. The citizens of Dustpan gathered at the rim of Dead Man's Gulch. No one wanted to look over the edge. "Listen," whispered One-Eyed Bill. "I hear rattling," said Odette. Everyone heard rattling. The rattlesnake was coiled upon the ledge, rattling his tail for Idie Mae, who was giggling and cooing and clapping her hands. "What's he up to now?" cried the sheriff. Just then, Idie Mae grabbed the snake's rattles, and everyone gasped. Idie Mae was falling into Dead Man's Gulch, and she was pulling the snake down with her. The snake wedged his pearly white fangs into a crevice in the rock. Then, with every bit of strength he had, he pulled Idie Mae up, 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 and out of Dead Man's Gulch, and tossed her right smack dab into her mother's waiting arms. "I've never seen anything like it," said Earl. "He's a hero," gushed Odette. Even the sheriff was convinced. "That is one Jim Dandy snake," he said. The children of Dustpan named the snake Diamond Jim Dandy. The sheriff made him deputy, and everyone was pleased as punch to have a rattlesnake in town. Especially the babies. The end.